And with a 9 News exclusive, hundreds of police officers across Ohio rely on the same piece of equipment to prove whether you or other drivers have had too much to drink.
And now there is growing concern over the accuracy of the breath test equipment they use. The claims have people on several sides of the law making some sobering accusations. 9 News anchor Lance Berry has the story.
The outcome of any criminal case, including drunk driving, is dependent on the evidence brought to court. In Ohio, the most popular way to see if someone is driving over the limit is with a breath test machine. It's called the Intoxilyzer 8000. But as you're about to see, not only are the results in some of these cases troubling, so too is an apparent conflict of interest with the man who bought those machines for the state of Ohio to begin with. To drunk drivers, OVI stops like this one are the first step toward arrest. But for Westchester defense attorney Jeff Meadows, they produce his livelihood.
Probably 90%.
So much, in fact, that instead of passing out business cards, Meadows passes out beverage koozies with his phone number on them. He's also becoming an outspoken critic against the machine, whose evidence he routinely tries to invalidate in court.
It seems that the state of Ohio is remaining willfully ignorant about the device and its problems.
He's talking about the Intoxilyzer 8000, made by CMI Incorporated in Owensboro, Kentucky. The 8000 is used in many states across the U.S., including here in Ohio, but not in Indiana or Kentucky. In Ohio, critics like Meadows are raising concerns about the accuracy of the machine. Meadows cited a recent Claremont County case.
This subject blew into the machine at 7:02 in the evening, produced a result allegedly of 0.158 grams of alcohol per 210 liters of his breath. 4 minutes later, on a second sample, the machine indicated a result of 0.137 grams of alcohol per 210 liters, and this was at 7:06 in the evening. The machine...
So just minutes later, he became less drunk?
Substantially less drunk.
Although either levels would be legally drunk to drive in Ohio. Not only does Meadows say the results are in question in that case, but he also says the way the machine collects that crucial evidence is full of errors. Such was the case, he says, in Warren County. The number of times they say she blew and the number of times the machine says she blew are different.
Correct.
It's a pretty significant issue.
Correct.
If they don't even know how many times the machine was blown into.
It is.
That's Meadows' argument, but in many of these cases where the evidence is being questioned, courts have yet to make a final ruling. Not convinced yet? Well, that's understandable. Perhaps you're saying, of course Meadows is going to refute the evidence against his clients. But also concerned is Meadows' law partner, but he's more than just another criminal defense attorney. He's also currently serving as a judge in Butler County and has done so for the last 13 years.
The court, being a gatekeeper, does not want evidence coming in a trial that's not reliable.
We found other cases across Ohio where the 8000's results are in question. From Circleville to Athens, evidence collected by the 8000 either being scrutinized or even thrown out, as these court records show, with possibly even more on the way.
I feel pretty confident that, and as it should be, that these issues will come before the courts in Ohio on a regular basis.
I had another case in Warren County where the officer testified that he saw my client take one long continuous breath into the machine. The machine reported that she blew 7 times. The judge in that case threw the breath test out and indicated in his decision that the machine appeared to be flawed.
State calls Mary Martin.
Mary Martin is the program administrator for the Ohio Department of Health, Drugs, and Alcohol. These days, that title means increasingly testifying in OVI cases across the state about the use of the 8000. Recently, she testified in Butler County Court, and we were there.
The Ohio Department of Health has never verified that this flow sensor accurately monitors the amount of time that the breath test is offered.
I can say that I have not, but I can't say if anybody else has or has not.
My opinion is that the state's sticking their head in the sand.
They don't want to know what's going on?
That's my opinion.
We also turn to Dr. Robert Bellato Jr., a renowned pharmacist and researcher from the Dayton area who has extensively researched the 8000 and written papers on it. His research led him to become a defense witness on the subject. He tells us, quote, The test can be manipulated by the officer by the length of the blow, and the machines are not very effective, and that's why duplicate testing is necessary. If one person is convicted based on flawed evidence from a machine that is inherently flawed, then
That's too many.
repeated phone calls and emails through CMI's website for comment went unreturned, so we went to them. On Monday, we traveled to Owensboro to get answers if there's any problems with their machine. We found out that they're a subsidiary of a company called MPD Incorporated. We wanted to take our concerns to CMI's president, Toby Hall.
Hi, Josie. This is Lance Berry with ABC News in Cincinnati. Hi there. I'm down in the lobby. I was hoping that Mr. Hall could join us down here briefly. Is he available?
After 2.5 hours of waiting for him to show up, we never even made it past the lobby. One other thing of note, according to Meadows, CMI won Ohio's more than $6 million contract back in 2009. The man who made the purchase on behalf of the state, Martin's predecessor, Dean Ward. A year after the deal went through, Meadows says Ward retired from the state, and then he went to work for, you guessed it, CMI. We wanted to question CMI about that, too, but judging by the lights they turned off on us last night, they had no interest in shedding any light on that subject.
I think it rises above concern. I think the general public in Ohio, the taxpayers, should be horrified.
The Intoxilyzer 8000 replaced a previous breath machine called the Datamaster, which is made in Ohio. Meadow tells us he knows police officers who are so concerned about the current results of the 8000 that they've actually resorted back to that old machine. For much more information on this story, including additional reaction and also a chance for you to voice your opinion, you can find that story on WCPO.com. Lance Berry, 9 News.